Fat bombs. I know there are many variations, and I like to toy around with a couple of different variations. Here are some of the main ingredients that I use on all of them. You've got, over on the far left here, you've got coconut flakes. There you've got the Dutch processed high-fat coconut oil. That's the coconut oil. It's cold pressed, so it's got that coconut flavor to it. You can get the stuff that's more processed that doesn't have any flavor at all if you don't like coconut. Almond butter, picked that up at Costco. That's the same carb content as regular peanut butter. It's noticeably not sweet though. I mean, it's really dry. Artificial sweetener, whether you like it or not, I use it. Deal with it. And I also use peanut flour or peanut butter powder. And any of these, sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Depends if I want to make it a little thicker. Since it's a powder, it can thicken things up a little bit. And I like the flavor anyway. And it doesn't add a whole lot of extra fat. It has about more than half of the fat taken out when it's dried, so it doesn't do that much. But it does add a little bit of peanut flavor if you want to lessen using your nut butters. And that would decrease your carbohydrate content. So what we have so far, we've got a little bit of coconut in there. In the calculations, I'm not even going to add the coconut. There isn't that much in there. And to be honest, that's not sweetened or anything. It's just coconut flakes. It adds a little bit of texture and it feels like a lot of fiber in with the bars. But it adds a little bit of texture, and those bars really do need it. Otherwise, it's just a big lump of hard cocoa, which isn't bad, but this makes it last. I think it makes it last a little bit longer. So there we have the half a cup of the almond butter. That would give us about 28 carbs and about 840 calories. Over here we've got the cocoa, the Dutch high processed cocoa. This is high fat processed cocoa. That's 6 tablespoons. And that'll give us 24 carbs, or 120 calories, and 120 calories. We got 1 cup right here in this little fancy-dancy thing of the coconut oil, and then I don't use a real measurement as far as the sweetener goes. I usually sweeten it to taste. Usually add at least 2 to 3 tablespoons of that in this. You do want it sweet, otherwise, I mean, I guess if you don't have a sweet tooth, you don't have to make it sweet, but then it's just a real dry, dark chocolate treat without any sweetness, which, sorry, I'm not there. I'm not there yet. I still like the sweetness. So we'll get it all mixed up and in my little tiny pan over there, and get the heat going so that we can put all the ingredients together. Now we've mixed all the ingredients in, stirring it up. It's not something you want to have on a high temperature. You want to go low and slow until it gets all liquided. Hey, how's that for English? Until it gets all liquidy. I like to get it really nice and warm. You don't want it boiling or anything, but you want all the oils to mix together, and you want the cocoa to break down. So that's what we're doing. Just taking our time, going nice and slow. And then we'll do the careful procedure of putting them in the molds. It's a nice little silicone mold, which is fine. And I have to remember to put it in. I've got a nice little tray that sits on, because otherwise, as you can see, you try to pick it up when it's full of liquid, and that won't work. But I've got a tray that fits perfect, so we're going to do that right now. As a side note, I do like to use a little handheld Cuisinart, if you got it. Hand mixer. It does tend to blend it up a lot better. Tends to blend it up a lot better. The artificial sweetener does get a little granular. They don't break down very easy. So before I pour it into the molds here, and you like the little tray there, now that actually holds that up really well. Before I pour it in there, I really like to get it mixed up good. I don't want any one getting more or less sweet than the next one. So try to keep it mixed up. If you have to stop, there's no hurry. Stop, mix it back up, and pour it in there. So there's no hurry. And we'll get these into the molds right now. Try to get them, all I'm really trying to do is get an even amount in each tray, or in each little candy bar there, so that the calorie count will be equal. Should fit all into there. It'll probably be about half full, maybe a little bit more. We shall see. And there you have it. And if you look real close, you can see those turned out really nice. And now we'll move them into a freezer, or if you're like me and live in Wisconsin, it's the middle of winter, you could probably just put them outside on the deck, which is what I will do. Especially if there's a nice breeze going. If you want to jot that down, that's all we used. Other than the coconut is not listed, but I said those are unsweetened coconut flakes, so they're not adding that much, and I'm not going to add that much into it, so it's not. I got all the macros in there, and like I said, 4.3 carbs per bar, and they're extremely good. But you got to be careful. Only use them as a treat or in the morning with your coffee. I recommend them in the morning with your coffee. Oh, nothing better. Bulletproof coffee and a fat bomb. Hooah! Steve, okay, after they're in the trays, what I like to do, and what I haven't seen anybody else do with their fat bombs, is I'm a big Alton Brown fan, and I know his little take on sweet and salt, how they go well together. I sprinkle a little layer, not a layer, but a dash of salt on each one of these, and you'd be amazed what that does to the flavor. So that's what I do. I would suggest to try it on one or two of your own, and it makes a huge difference, in my opinion. All right, we're back in. Got them out from the cold 5-degree temperature. I love these little mats. So we pop them out. Look at that. Got a nice little design. Turned out to be a nice little candy bar. Well, candy bar. Fat bomb! Pretty neat. And they're very attractive. like snowflakes. But really easy to pop out. You can stick them in the freezer. Probably take less than a half an hour. I think it's been about half an hour. And they pop right out of these little molds. And get them in the bag. And like I said, you don't have to have a whole one. But they're good for you. I mean, if you're into ketosis, and I am, and things are going well, and I'll be putting videos up. This will probably be with video number 1, but my recipes are actually being made a little bit after these videos. So I can tell you that this one will be with my first video, which is pretty depressing, but things are going well. And this is one of the things that have really gotten me through the first month. The fat bombs. Along with a nice addiction to coffee. And with a little bit of coconut oil. Alright. Pretty darn nice.